soldier.
The war's over, in case someone hasn't told you.
Jim Trask. I don't believe it.
I never did know a wheat farmer that knew how to ride a horse. You can get that surprised look off your face, Chip.
Jim, it's good to see you.
The boy I knew in Abilene has grown into a man.
Nothing like a war to make someone grow up fast. You know, you're gonna make a liar out of a lot of people. Everyone back home thinks you're dead. According to a letter I got, someone not only saw you get killed, but deposited a bunch of lilies on your grave. Looking at you, I'd say it was a case of bad eyes and good intentions.
I haven't seen a letter in over a year and a half. What's new in Abilene?
Oh, it's growing. They even had a railroad when I left. You going back to being sheriff?
No. Seen enough guns shooting for a while.
Too bad about Tad Mosley. I heard Tad Mosley was killed.
Yes, Tad's dead.
Years old, and I've never even seen him.
It's a fine-looking family.
The last year, that's all I've been thinking about, getting back to them. I put myself to sleep just dreaming about it. Helen, the kid, and me, and the farm. The feel of the plow turning the dirt.
You're a lucky man, Chip. Let's get going.
You know, it's funny what makes a man go fiddle-footing off to a war he can stay out of. Take us, for instance. Neither of us had to go. But you joined up with the Rebs. I went with the Union. Gray coat and a blue one. Both of us from the same town, the same state.
Now, listen to me, Chip. When you get home, put that coat away and forget it. Forget you ever wore or what color it was. It's the only way we can all be friends.
You know, you sure have changed, Jim. The last I remember of you was shooting it out with the Miller boys in back of the saloon. Now you're not even wearing a gun.
Keeping you busy, Frank?
Yeah, pretty busy, but... Jim Trask. Everybody thinks you're supposed to be... Man, you're supposed to be dead.
I don't kill so easy. Hey, putting on a little weight, aren't you?
Hey, Jack Bedford. Look who's here. Jim Trask. Healthiest dead man you ever saw.
Jim, you old son of a gun!
Jack.
Trask. Wasn't he sheriff here before the war?
That's right.
Supposed to be a fast man with a gun.
Supposed to be. Same old Jim.
I'd say this calls for a drink.
Thanks, Frank. I'd like to see Dave Mosley. Tell me where I'll find him.
You won't have to look far.
Hey.
Dave put Tad's name on when he started business. He never took it off.
But Dave was raised a wheat farmer. What does he know about trade and cattle?
You learn. Awful fast.
Will you have that drink later, Frank?
Sure, Jim.
Jack?
Yeah.
Come in.
He's alive. Mr. Trask. I just saw him.
Jim Trask?
He's coming here. Alive.
Jim!
Dave.
How are you? I can't believe it. It's too good to be true.
I don't know how good, but it is true.
Tad, is he?
No. Tad's dead, Dave.
Oh. Well, I guess that was a little too much to hope for. 4 years. Seems like only yesterday, seeing you and Tad riding off together.
It seems like a million years to me.
I know. Were you with him?
Yes, I was. Fisher's Hill.
Nobody ever had a better brother or friend. My right arm. That's what he used to say he was. And he was. The strongest right arm a man could have. Here, I'm running off at the mouth. Come on, I want to show you something.
Welcome home, Mr. Trask.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Well, how do you like it?
Hey, you've done all right.
Oh, I've done better than all right. But this isn't what I wanted to show you. Got something here I'm kind of proud of. I think Tad would have been proud of it, too. Here, take a look at this. Mosley property, every mile of it. Largest in these parts, second largest in the state, and growing bigger.
When I left, Abilene was farmland, not cattle country. What happened?
The railroad came in, and Texas started sending cattle up for shipment. I saw it coming and tied up the biggest eastern buyers. But I needed acreage to graze and fatten up the herds before shipping. Remember the land Tad bought to start a farm?
I remember.
I started with that. Kept adding onto it as we grew bigger. Welcome home, Jim.
Thanks.
Tad and Dave Mosley. His name stays on as long as mine. Was there anything he wanted done? Any kind of message for me before he died?
No, he went the minute he was hit. Didn't get a chance to say anything. Dave.
We got enough of you Yankee sons west of Abilene.
Give me that gun!
Sure, catch it.
Jim Trask, give me a couple of guns. We'll take you all on.
You're the same Trask who used to be sheriff here?
Yeah, you got a good memory. Only you forgot that when he was sheriff here, tramps like you didn't get into this town.
Easy, Chip.
All right. That'll be enough of that. Get moving. Go on.
Hey, my gun.
I'll take that gun.
The gun's mine.
I said I'm taking it in. Understand, mister?
Chip was minding his own business. They jumped him. Why don't you take their gun?
I'm sheriff in this town now, Trask, not you. I'll do it my way. I want that gun.
All right. Get it.
What are you backing that with, that gun in the dirt?
Why don't you find out?
You're just back, Trask, so I'm letting it go this time. But don't push your luck.
You told him, Jim. That's what this town needs.
Back down
Keep those fellas in their places. Getting worse every day. Keep it up, boy.
We need you, Jim.
Yeah, couldn't fit you better if it was made for you.
That's what you said about the last 3 suits. Now, don't rush me.
Well, listen, I've been in this business long enough to know what's best for a man.
Whether he wants it or not.
Well, the suit's fine, Frank. It's just I'm a little fussy. It's my first in over 4 years.
I got some hats that'll go with that outfit.
Dave? Oh, I was looking for you. We just drove into town and I heard about Jim Trask. Now, how do you
Hello,
think...
Mr. Bigelow.
Oh, hello, Jim. I'm glad to see you back.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Glad to see you back, boy.
How's Peg?
Fine. Just fine. Well, I guess I better be going. I'll tell her I ran into you.
Well, that certainly was a warm welcome. You two are sure quiet.
I guess it's your move, Dave.
I didn't get a chance to tell you before. Peggy and I are getting married. It's nobody's fault, Jim. She waited almost a year after the news came in about you being dead. I'd lost Tad. She'd lost you. We just drifted to each other. Sort of misery loves company, I guess. You can't blame her, Jim.
I'm blaming no one.
Are we still friends?
You know better than to ask a fool question like that.
You had me scared for a second.
Why? I told you I'm blaming no one.
Afternoon, Peggy.
Hello, Mr. Scobie.
We're back here, Peggy.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Peg. Well, Dave just told me. Congratulations. I wish you both the best of luck.
Thanks. Why didn't you write?
But I did. I just couldn't get them out. Nothing was going through the lines.
How do you feel?
Fine. Just fine.
You haven't changed much. A little thinner, maybe.
A little older. Not much wiser. You're prettier than ever.
I haven't given it much thought in the last few years.
You'll have to.
You'll still stay in Abilene, won't you, Jim?
Yes. So I guess I will.
You'll find lots of changes.
I know.
If you two are finished talking, I'll get back to altering that jacket.
I'm sorry, Dave. It was a shock seeing Jim again.
Well, that's all right, Peg. After all, you and Jim are once going to get married. You'll stay at the ranch with me, won't you?
Ranch?
Peggy's mine. I had it built before I knew Tad had been killed. No sense in leaving his room empty.
Thanks, but I think I'll stay at the hotel for a few days. Just until I get my bearings.
Ah, hard man to do business with.
You tried.
Then we'll just leave the invitation open. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye, Jim.
Bye, Peg.
We'll talk about your plans.
Sure.
Can I have your jacket back now?
What's the idea?
I had to do something to stop you and Peg Gavin. If you'd have seen Dave's face, you'd have known why I did it.
This time, we'll get a legislature that will protect the interests of the cattlemen. Teach these farmers some of the facts of life. Up to now, we've had to fight for everything the hard way.
There's too many fences left in this state.
Well, Kansas is changing from farm to cattle country. The sooner the farmers find that out, the better it'll be for them.
The farmers were here before the railroad. We got as much right as anyone.
I wasn't talking to you.
Then make your speech making it home. I'm sick and tired of your voice.
Get moving, Nelson.
I said get moving.
Yellow dirt grubber.
Pretty warm for a second. Jack, what's happened to this town? It's all on edge. I noticed it the minute I rode in.
Ever see 1,000 head of cattle being driven? Takes a lot of room. They can't or won't stop for nothing. Fences, sheds, crops, even whole farms if the herd's big enough. Thank you, Jim. That's why I sold out to Dave. Considering there was nothing left of the farm and Dave could have given me anything he wanted, I got a pretty good deal. There's nothing in Abilene for you, Jim. Do yourself a favor and get out while you can. No, you won't.
Who's Dan Claudius?
Used to be Dave Mosley's range boss. Boyce Madden was sheriff, doing a good job. Claudius turned up as his deputy. 6 weeks later, Madden was bushwhacked, and Claudius got his job. We never did find Madden's killer. I don't know what you figure on doing, Jim, but if you stay, you can't fan yourself on the sideline. You're going to have to pick a side.
Whiskey, the best. Nothing's too good for Dave Mosley's future father-in-law.
Especially when Dave's paying for it.
Why not? He's rich enough. We're both beholden to Dave. Help yourself.
You talk too much. Trask, you got a big reputation with a gun, but I notice you're still not wearing one. Isn't that a bit peculiar?
Well, we've got such a good sheriff, I figured I wouldn't need one.
We got some pretty rough boys bringing in those Texas cows. I wouldn't want to see you taken advantage of.
If I get in trouble, Sheriff, I'll sure come hollering to you.
Oh, you're no match for him with words, my friend.
I got a feeling one of these days, Trask is just liable to run out of words.
Take it out of your hide.
Hey, police ain't gonna help you this time.
Give you a minute to come out, Dave.
Yeah.
Come out or we'll come in and get you.
Let's get him now.
Don't go out, Mr. Mosley. They'll kill you. 30 seconds!
Let's run away.
Hey, Rod! Better check your watch. It's back.
It's good to see you back, Jim. But don't try to stop us.
That's a job for the sheriff, not me. What's up?
Dave's men brought in a herd last night, right through my property. Lost 5 miles of fence and my whole fall planting. I want what's coming to me.
There's a law and a courthouse in Abilene.
You've been away too long, Jim. Cattle money buys our judges. We got cattleman's law. We know.
We're through being pushed around. Now we fight them.
Yeah, we're gonna protect what belongs to us.
We're coming after you, Dave.
Come on, Jimmy. This is no place for you.
Rod, you're looking for trouble if you go at it that way. Now, if Dave owes you money, you'll get paid.
Thanks, Jim.
Jim said it for me. If you men had come here like businessmen instead of a hanging posse, I'd have told you myself. My men let that herd get away from them last night. The fault's theirs, and I stand responsible for them. If you present your itemized bill to the bank, I'll see that it's honored.
That's the first mistake Dave's made.
Wouldn't be too sure.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it, not before.
What do you think got into it?
I don't know, as long as I get my money.
The first time we ever
Hey,
came out
Jim!
on top.
How about taking your old job back?
We all want you back as sheriff.
Well, sure, Claudius out!
We'll run that crowd out.
It's that Tomlin kid again.
Come on and join us. Come on, Jim, we want you back.
Please, Jim!
We'll run Mosley and his bunch out of town, Jim. Come on back and join us, will you? Jim, be sheriff again. We'll run that crowd out of town. Come on, Jim. Let's hear from you.
Thank you.
You know, Jim, we've turned into the shipping center of the West. Beef is sky high. The demand's more than we can supply. And it's all got to come through Abilene.
I've heard the same argument for Kansas wheat.
From Cuba, the best.
Now I'm beginning to understand why beef is sky high. No thanks. From here, it looks like it's all the best.
Well, when you build a place like this, there's no use spending your money on trash. All the best. Want to change? I'm sorry.
It's all right.
What are your plans?
I'm thinking about leaving.
Leaving?
I'd like to try Oregon, California.
This town's made for you. It's a powder keg ready to go off at any moment. It needs a strong man.
It already has a strong man.
Oh. Claudius deals with a heavy hand. He's made an enemy of every farmer.
I wasn't talking about Claudius.
I won't deny a lot of things. Maybe the cattleman's been crowding the farmer up to now. But if we'd done it any other way, we'd have been out of business.
But what about now?
Well, now the trails are pretty well set. Most of us have all the grazing land we need. Sure. We'll have troubles now and then, but we've reached the balance. If we can get hotheads like Rod Sprague to listen.
They have their reasons.
Well, now, look, it hasn't been all one-sided. We've had to pay double and triple for land, too. But the farmers trust you, Jim. And so do the cattlemen. Sprague said it this morning. Abilene needs you. Take the job of sheriff.
I don't want the job.
All right. Abilene doesn't need you. I need you. Since you and Tad went away, I've been at the mercy of every two-bit gunslinger that hits town. That's why I've had to use Claudius, to be my right hand. But he's still a hired hand. I can be overbid at any time. I can't shoot a gun. And there's no one I can trust. It's like living under an axe. Sweating with every strange noise, watching every stranger come into town. Only Tad was alive, it'd be a different story. But he's dead. And you're the only one. I need you, Jim. I want you to take the job.
If you need me that bad, it's little enough for what I owe you.
Look, I've never blamed you for my hand. We were kids and it was an accident.
I know. But no matter how you look at it, if it hadn't been for me, you'd still have a right hand.
I don't like you taking the job for that reason.
I'm here, you need me. What difference does a reason make? What about Claudius?
Well, he used to work for me. I'll take him back.
All right, Dave. Just one more thing. There's going to be a law prohibiting anyone from carrying firearms within the city limits.
Well, even for you, that'll be a tough one to enforce.
I'll worry about it.
Your health, Sheriff, and good luck.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Peg.
Heard your horse. Jim stopped barking. I knew it had to be you.
Yes, he didn't forget me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that to sound the way it did.
I waited a long time, Jim.
Dave told me. I just came from this place. I'm taking my old job back.
Dave said he was going to ask you. Somehow I never thought you would.
One job's as good as another.
You always talked about farming. We even planned when you came back to work together on this. Oh, Jim, if you could only have let me know you were alive.
Yeah, spilt milk now, Peg.
Oh, yes. I guess it is.
Dave's crazy about you. He'll make you a good husband. You love him?
In a way, I do. Dave's shown me nothing but kindness and consideration.
Claudius.
On his way to Dave's house.
I guess I'd better be going.
Why'd you stop by, Jim?
I don't know. Just wanted to talk, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Jim, I want to know something. Dave told me about the accident, how he lost his hand. Is that why?
Why what?
Why you're taking the job of sheriff?
Yes.
Thanks. You just explained a lot of things to me.
I tell you, the fat's on the fire, and a man's a fool if he can't feel it.
You're asking me to step down for Trask.
No, you're wrong, Dan. I'm telling you to step down. For myself.
I've done things for you I'd do for no other man.
I'm not questioning your loyalty, Dan. There's a time to pull in horns, and this is it. You see what's happening? Gunplay on the streets every day.
You can't push him in and expect him to grin.
That's right, and I don't want him to get the last laugh either. Did you hear them yelling in the street? I think they hate you more than they hate the cattlemen.
No, it was that Tomlin kid that started it all. What he needs
Could
is...
have been anyone. It's been a long time coming. They need a bone to keep them from breaking out. That's why I'm giving them Jim Trask. Why? His coming back was a godsend. The farmers want him and trust him, and they'll do what I want of him.
Don't be too sure of that.
I have my own way of handling Jim.
What about Peggy? From what I hear, you're taking a chance having him around.
Suppose you keep out of my personal affairs.
What happens to my deputy?
Vern doesn't mean anything one way or the other. He might as well stay. But you, well, you'll come back to your old job with me. There's a real future here for the right man.
Well, Trask is an old friend of yours. What about him?
Write out your resignation in the morning. I want Judge Fens to swear Jim in as soon as he can. I grow, and you grow with me, Dan.
I'm ready.
I think we understand each other. Good night.
Good night.
Claudia sure loved those shoes. Took them off a gambler he shot last year. I always hurt Dan's feet. 2 sizes too small. I still can't figure out what you're gonna do with these things. I had them up all over town for 2 days now. Only had 12 guns handed in. All harmless.
Why didn't you enforce it?
I was waiting for you to be sworn in, Sheriff.
Any man that carries a gun is advertising he's ready and willing to use it. I'm taking my first tour. You coming?
Sure. Half the town's out. Hey, you're forgetting your own gun.
I'm not taking one.
Now, I know you're crazy. You know what kind of men they got driving those cows in from Texas? Well, they make their reputations on sheriffs.
You just make sure that no one takes a pot shot at me.
Right. Anything special you want done with your body?
Yeah. Just make sure Claudius doesn't get my boots.
Here they come.
I still think he's bluffing about that gun law.
You don't know the man.
Might as well check as I go.
Come here.
I'll make you leave.
I want to see Trask talk his way out of this one.
This yours, Sheriff? I found it lying around. Says something about guns, but I can't read.
Looks like you got a reception committee. You know the law. You can pick it up when you leave town.
You wouldn't mind reading it for me, would you, Sheriff?
Loudmouth is mean and fast, and he's itching for trouble. You better take this gun. You're not that crazy. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Don't go away, Sheriff. This looks like a legal poster. You should explain it to me.
Follow close so you can see him.
What's the matter, Trask? You ain't scared, are you? We're as gentle as lambs. Bah!
Trask! I'm waiting for you to take my gun.
I'd hold that a bit.
There's enough guns behind me, Vern, to take care of you. Well, Sheriff, what are you waiting for?
She looks kind of worried, doesn't she?
That's right. Just a little bit.
You know the law. You can check your guns with a bartender.
You heard what the man said. He's got him.
I've been losing stock up on the North Range. Get up there with a couple of men and see what it's all about. Here. That'll hold you for a while.
Thanks. Nothing else you want taken care of?
I'll let you know.
Anytime. I don't like him either.
That was a real fine dinner.
Wasn't it wonderful?
Next time out, huh?
Oh, it was just perfect. She's a wonderful hostess.
I think she's too good for him. I think so.
Oh, no, you don't mean that.
Thanks very much for coming.
Well, good
Glad
night.
you had such a good time.
Good night, we certainly did.
Bye-bye.
You know, they're right. I'm a lucky man.
Thank you, Dave.
No, I mean it. You have a wonderful way of handling people. I want this to be a house where people will want to come, want to get invited to. You can make it that kind of house.
Sure she can.
It's a big ranch, Peggy. It's got its enemies. That's all part of growing. And with your help, I can make it much bigger.
I'm just starting to realize how ambitious you are, Dave.
Anything wrong in that?
No. It's just that I'm not.
Well, one ambitious one in this family's enough. Peg, I'll do my best to make you a good husband. That is, if you still want me.
What do you mean?
I'm a proud man, and I'm in love with you. What belongs to me belongs to me and no one else.
If you're thinking of Jim Trask, Dave, that's over and done with.
You sure?
Jim stopped by the other night and we talked it out. I'm sure.
There are only two people in the world who really ever meant anything to me. You and my brother. I lost Tad. I'd die inside any time I think of losing you. I promise never to let you down, Peg.
I'll do my very best, Dave.
I know you will. Look, the house is ready and waiting for you. Why should we wait till next month to get married? Why not next week?
Next week?
We can have the invitations out and everything ready in 5 or 6 days. Unless you've got something holding you back.
No. No, I've got nothing holding me back.
Careful. Hold your fire. Now, any rounds left? Don't waste them. Here they come. Behind that brush. Here they come.
back in a minute.
Ooh.
Thanks.
Iced tea?
They're my engagement present from Dave.
Oh,
We're getting married next week, Jim.
that's fine.
We are having a reception at the house. You'll get an invitation in the next few days.
I'd rather not go, if you don't mind.
Dave's counting on your being there, Jim. You'd better go.
Cut it out, Peg.
I'm just curious. I want to see how far a man can go because of an accident that happened more than 10 years ago.
Oh, Jim. Jim, if I was you, I'd take a ride out to North Trail and have a talk with a few people. I hear some of Mosley's riders beat up the Johnson boys last night. Claim the farmers have been helping themselves to Dave's cattle.
Have they?
Well, a lot of folks figure Dave owes them something.
Subtle, ain't he? Let's go for a ride.
Separated from the herd. Come on.
It's that fresh kid who's a friend of Trask's.
Well, Trask isn't going to do him any good now. Get off your horse.
That cow strayed on my farm. I was bringing him back.
You were bringing him back. Get off.
Next time you try something like that, you won't be so lucky. All right, get his gun. Tie him to the back of the wagon.
You know, the trouble with this business is it makes a man old before his time. You know, I never did hear of a sheriff living to be a ripe old age, did you?
Sure. Ed Murdoch. They didn't shoot him until he was 38.
Probably lied about his age.
He's alive. Uh-oh. All right, let go of the horse.
In case you're worried about Trask, the law's with us this time all the way.
It's up there. Let's take a look.
Never seen a man cut up like this before. We'll need a wagon to get him to Doc Casbah's. Nelson's place is about a mile from here. You stay with him, I'll get him. And hurry. He hasn't come to yet. You might as well go. I'll stay here. If you need me, just holler.
What are you going to do about it, Sheriff?
I don't know yet.
You don't know? Chip's a friend of yours.
What's going on?
Chip came to for a couple of seconds. Between what he said and what his wife told us, we found out how it happened.
Chip was shoeing a stray cow that he found on his land back on Mosley property when he ran into Claudius and a couple of his riders. Claudius accused him of trying to steal a cow.
Chip never stole anything in his life, and everybody knows it.
Chip was on Mosley property. We can't hang a thing on Claudius.
In this state, you can shoot a man for trespassing. So legally, our hands are tied.
Your hands may be tied, Sheriff, but ours ain't. I'll tell you something else, Sheriff. You better start packing a gun. If Chip dies, you're going to have to use it.
Yeah.
You knew the boy was telling the truth. He's a friend of Trask's, and you were taking it out on him.
He was trespassing, and the law says...
I know what the law says. For 3 years, we've got what we wanted by splitting up the farmers and outguessing them every time they've tried to get together. We've pushed them around and scared them into selling their land cheap only because we were smarter than they were. If you don't know it, you've just given them the one spark that can get them together. Do you know what happens if Chip Tomlin dies?
I got a pretty good idea.
You know, I thought this was just a stupid play. Now I'm not so sure. You trying to bring on a showdown?
Anybody wants trouble, I can handle it.
You're a fool. That's the one thing I want to avoid.
Look, I work for you, but I'm going to tell you this. If a bad play was made, you made it when you paid Sprague off in front of that mob last week. You showed them you could give in, something you've never done before. You've gotten where you are by bearing down on them until they were too scared to move. And that's what you got to keep on doing. Well, if it was a mistake, you made it.
It's a matter of opinion, my friend, and I don't intend to argue it with you. There's a ranch cabin up in the Buttes. I want you to stay up there until Tomlin gets well and this blows over.
And if he doesn't get well?
You've given me no choice, Dan. Tomlin dies, you're a millstone around my neck.
Thanks, Dave. Now I know where I stand.
I was awake, too. You were hoping that was Jim. I know I haven't given you much to be proud of since your mother died. But even if I fail, I wanted your happiness more than anything else in the world.
I know.
You'll never be happy with Dave as long as you know that Jim's alive. Don't marry him, honey. Even if you can't get Jim, don't marry him. If you do, you'll regret it as long as you live.
Oh, Dad.
All right, Chip.
It hurts.
I know, Chip, I know.
Jim, I tried to tell him that I was bringing the cow back, but Claudius wouldn't believe me.
Maybe you better not talk.
2 years of war, and I didn't get a scratch. All I wanted was to be left alone with my family.
Try to be quiet.
Maybe I shouldn't have put my blue coat away.
I'll take care of Claudius.
It's funny. Man's got to fight to live in peace.
How is he?
Conscious, that's about all. You're not doing Chip or yourselves any good by standing here.
We're not breaking any law, are we?
No.
Then suppose you let us worry about that.
Sprague, Chip's my friend, and if he dies, Claudius is my personal affair.
Claudius takes his orders from Dave Mosley. Are you making him a personal affair, too?
They're pretty edgy. You notice the wagon they got with it?
Loaded with rifles?
Well, I'm glad you got the good sense to leave it alone.
Same day?
Someone said he had a herd of cattle coming in, probably out at his ranch.
I'm going to ride out and have a talk with him about Claudius.
What do I do if the kid dies?
Nothing. I'll be back in a couple of hours.
I saw you from the window.
I came to see Dave. Is he here?
No, I'm waiting for him myself.
It might be better if I waited out here until he comes back.
I came to tell Dave I can't marry him, Jim. You can come in if you'd like. I'm returning the team and buggy. Saddle horse is mine.
Let's go inside.
I've lain awake nights thinking about it, Jim. I've made up my mind. I can't marry Dave while I'm in love with someone else.
Dave loves you. It's going to hurt him.
Is that all you can say, Jim?
That's all.
I can remember that you loved me. We made plans for a life together. Is that all gone?
I won't be a party to hurting Dave.
I've tried to understand, Jim, ever since you got back. You just can't be a guilty conscience over an accident to Dave's hand. You weren't like this before the war. What is it, Jim? What's happened?
I can't tell you.
You mean you won't?
All right, I won't.
It's got something to do with Tad's dying, doesn't it? I saw your face when his name was mentioned the day you got back. And I've seen other things, too. The fight you had before the Star Saloon. You were afraid, Jim. I don't think anyone else saw it, but I did. What were you afraid of? Couldn't have been the other man, or you'd have used your gun. It has to be something else. What are you running away from, Jim? I may be wrong, but I have a feeling it all has something to do with Tad.
I don't think you're wrong. I've seen things, too. I've seen him give you up when I knew that he loved you. I've seen him take the job of sheriff when I knew he wanted no part of it. Because I asked him to. Peggy's right. Man doesn't give up things like that for another man. Something happened between you and Tad. What was it?
I'd taken out a patrol. We were trapped behind the lines. For 3 days, we were pinned down in a hole by snipers. By this time, most of my men were killed or wounded, without food, without water. I think I was the only one that was in one piece. Except that my nerves were gone. I'd shoot at anything that moved in front of me.
Go on.
I remember it was dark. It was quiet. It was too quiet. And I knew that they were ready to rush us. I just saw someone move in the brush in front of me. I fired at the same instant he called my name. It was Dad. He was dead by the time I got to him. I was carrying his body in when the snipers got me. I was in the prison hospital until a couple of months before the war ended. They did a good job on me, except for 2 things. I can't sleep much. I can't fire a gun. I know I should have told you sooner, but I couldn't.
I'm sorry, Jim.
You're sorry? He kills my brother, takes you away from me, and you're sorry for him.
I never belonged to you, Dave, and what happened to Tad was an accident.
I can't see it that way. Get out, both of you!
I rode out to tell you, Dave, that Sprague has gotten a bunch of the farmers together in town. Chip dies. There's going to be trouble.
Sprague. You tell those farmers that Chip Tomlin was trespassing on my property and that from now on, anyone else who tries it gets the same treatment.
Better think that over, Dave.
I've got 40 men working for me. I need 20. You think that over.
You'll be wanting to get back to Chip.
The house looks deserted.
I know. Dad's spending the night in town.
Night, Peg.
Good night. Jim, there's nothing wrong with this farm that a man who wanted to couldn't cure.
Let me work it out my own way. It's Vern Ward. What's up?
Chip's dead and everything's busted wide open. Sprague's bunch has had a run-in with some of Ingles' hands. Jack Bedford's dead, so are some of the hands. Everyone's got a taste of blood. Now all the farmers want to hang all the cattlemen they can get their hands on.
I thought Sprague had more sense than that.
The last I heard, he was yelling to hang Dave and Claudius.
That means they'll be along this way pretty soon. We can't leave you alone. Vern and I are going back to Dave's. Take the back road. It's longer, but it's safer. Get to the hotel and stay there. We'll see you as soon as we can.
All right.
It's open. What do you want?
Bill Reardon rode up from town through the buttes. The Tomlin kid's dead. And Sprague's fixing a posse to hang all the cattlemen, starting with us.
Get out of here.
I risked my neck coming out here to warn you.
You smell like a wet sheepdog. Get out.
You're drunk.
I'm not drunk enough to think any good can come from having you around. You've outlived your usefulness, my friend. I was gonna wait, but there's no use prolonging it. Now, when you ride off my land tonight, make sure you don't come back.
Your land? You mean the 200 acres you got from your dead brother? I killed men so you could make this place into something because you weren't man enough to do it yourself. It isn't enough. I want what's coming to me.
Now, when you get over your surprise, my friend, don't get any ideas. I practiced till my fingers were raw and my hand was numb. You're not afraid at all, are you?
Why should I be?
Because I'm gonna kill you. I'll settle the trouble between myself and the farmers, and I'll be a hero to boot. I killed the man who whipped Chip Tomlin to death.
Looks like it's my deal now.
I'll raise the ante, but I won't beg.
It's a little too late for that.
Looked like Claudius's horse.
We better warn Dave.
Dave? 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 Dave?
He's dead. Get his gun.
What is it?
He carried the key to his office storeroom on his chain. He had it the last time I saw him.
Look, Claudius took it. He's on his way to town right now. He never had a chance. His gun's got no bullets.
Or no. Help me pick him up. Take him to town. I'm going up to Claudius.
Claudius don't bluff. He's the fastest man with a gun I've ever seen.
Give me the gun. No, that one.
As long as you're getting around to doing some shooting, you might as well have a gun with bullets in it.
I've got bullets.
Think you'll be able to use it?
How long have you known?
Ever since I first heard you talking in your sleep. You better make up your mind by the time you meet Claudius. He'll give you no chance to change it. Good luck.
Thanks.
We're hanging Dave and Claudius. You're not stopping us, Jim.
Dave is dead. Claudius killed him. Vern's bringing the body in now.
Still leaves Claudius.
Claudius is mine. And there will be no lynching. This is a job for the law. Now, all of you go home and put your guns away before you get in trouble.
All right, Jim. We'll let you take care of him.
Carrying a gun for the first time.
Yeah.
Jim. Jim! What happened? Did you see Dave?
What are you doing down here? Get back. I'm all right.
Who is it, Dave?
Dave's dead. It's Claudius. He killed him.
Trask, if you'll step outside, I'll argue the point with you.
My horse is in the stable. You can make it out the back way.
I always thought you had a yellow streak. You could prove I was wrong.
I'm going out.
Oh, Jim, I know what's working on you, but you haven't a chance out there.
It's my only chance.
I'm ready to fight it even.
If I run now, I'm finished. We're finished. For good. It's all in that gun lying out there in the dirt. Dave, Tad, me, you. I've got to pull that trigger.